Hi Ashley, thank you for your video. I think question 3 regarding secular definitions of abnormalities really struck an interest with me once I watched your video. You pointed out how physical injuries can lead to secular definitions of abnormalities. You gave the example of how if a person has been through the physical trauma of having a stroke, how that can change their personality. And you also gave the example of how maybe problems with the amygdala can cause unusual processing of anxiety. And I thought that was really interesting. I'm glad you brought that up. In the same, going through the same vein, I was thinking about how physical trauma, physical injuries can lead to abnormalities. And I went along the lines of how mild traumatic brain injuries can cause abnormalities. In an article written by Daniling et al. 2023, it is stated that mild traumatic brain injuries have the possibility of leading into persistent post-concussion symptoms. However, what was interesting to me is that characteristics such as an individual's natural ability to cope, as well as pre-injury mental health, really play a role in whether or not a person who has had a mild traumatic brain injury develops persistent post-concussion symptoms. So looking at that, it seems like not only can a physical injury lead to an abnormality, but a person's pre-injury way of coping and any kind of mental health problems that they had before really is a good predictor of whether or not that abnormality becomes something else, such as persistent post-concussion symptoms. So that's something to definitely consider is what is just a person's natural ability to cope with hard things. And if they can cope well, maybe like in the example of mild traumatic brain injuries, they may not go through persistent post-concussion symptoms. But if they're predisposed to maybe a mental health crisis or bad coping skills, then you may want to be aware that in that kind of case, we need to look for symptoms of persistent post-concussion disorder. So thank you for initiating, sparking the interest, and I hope this video helps.